I'm going to tie my pants. This is a pants on. Do you have socks on for this podcast?
Yeah.
I don't.
We're wearing the same shirt color.
Shirt color. Yeah, no, that was on purpose. You were wearing white, so I put
Gotcha.
white.
This is a KKK meeting.
That was good stuff, and now we have to edit that out.
Oof, that's going to be rough.
The cough?
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it again.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I have a good control over my body. I'm just listening to the wind. I think what we're going to do is we're going to sit here and just listen to the wind for an hour.
That's the name of the episode.
Yeah. Not that windy.
I'm bringing in my Native American partner. Listen to the wind.
That's his name?
Yeah.
Is he Cardboard?
Listen to the wind.
As you'll notice, Cardboard Brett, for anyone who knows our apartment well, from that angle, he's gone.
He's gone.
All right, let's talk about the text. So I have some topics in my brain.
Okay, good.
We're going to segue into them as we go.
Okay.
We're going to just start with, topic of the day. We're going to start with topic of the day. I haven't done this here in a while, with the multi-cam setup. I guess we haven't done this in a while.
Right.
Topic of the day. So it was your idea, I don't know if you remember.
I don't.
To get me to post the crazy text on Instagram.
That's shocking that was my idea. I don't
You said
remember.
it 4 days ago.
Okay.
Yeah. You were like, get Christina to film it. We're going to use names, by the way. I'll edit out as needed.
That I remember. That
we're doing that?
Yes.
Oh, that you said you told me to have her do it.
Yeah.
We're going to talk, we're going to pretend the mics, the cameras, all that's not here.
Yes, this
we don't
not
need
here.
to rehash all this
No.
again. Okay. And then I'll edit as needed. Yeah, you told me to have her film me reading it. And then I posted it.
Remember.
And the 3 videos combined are at 800-something thousand views right now. So it was your idea. And a lot of the comments are asking for more context. So let's give it to them.
Sure.
Okay. Do you want to say your memory of this story? Do you want to just tell it from the beginning?
I'm trying to wake myself up because I'm fucking tired.
That's why we're going to talk about the matzo ball first, because this is just the get in flow state part of the podcast.
So we're at the matzo ball, first time I've ever been, and we are on a mission to meet as many nice Jewish girls as possible.
Or just one each.
Or just one each.
Each is important for the story, actually.
Anyway, there's a girl standing in the corner. She's got a bag on her shoulder. It looks like a camera, actually. So I went up to her and I'm like, "Oh, are you the photographer?" And she's like, "No, this is a bag, but it's a bag that looks like a camera." I don't know fashion, but that fucking confused me. But anyway, we were just chatting, and within 5 minutes, it was clear we were just going to be friends.
Well, she had a second friend with her, but we weren't really talking to her that much. She had another friend. I think they were probably both in their 40s. And they were just we all had just arrived. There weren't that many people there yet. And I remember the nature of the conversation being something like, all right, we're going to all go meet our people out there tonight. Let's meet up at the end and report back on how our respective nights went.
Well, someone in the comments on Instagram was like, "Oh, your buddy didn't like her," in that way.
You didn't.
So I feel like I established that within 10 minutes. I was like, "All right, we're gonna be friends. We're gonna go on this hunt. We're gonna create a hunting club."
We friend zoned her. We've done this before.
Yeah, but you weren't even necessarily.
I was standing there.
You were standing there. You didn't even have to friend zone. You didn't have to do anything.
Right. You
were just
you had initiated the conversation, and I was part of it.
But it was pretty clear, I thought, my intention.
Yeah.
And I remember her being like, "Okay, that makes sense." And I say it all humbly. You can think I sound like an asshole. I don't care.
Oh, what? That it's wow, she was so into me that she lost her goddamn mind.
Of course, yeah.
But that's what happened.
I don't even know if that's totally what happened.
Who knows if someone took her phone and sent us the craziest text of all time because we blocked her. So
no, it was a nice flirtatious interaction that ended on a friend zone situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bottom line.
So you started a text conversation. You guys exchanged numbers.
Yes.
You wrote #hunting club.
Did I start this text thread?
I went through it today just to make sure we have all the facts. Does anyone care about this? I think yes, actually.
Well,
we're going to come back to this as a topic, but I've had
I'm waking up now as we're getting into the hunt.
Okay, good.
Into the hunt.
I've had imposter syndrome and not so much because clearly I'm plowing through it anyway, but I've had a bit of does anyone care about my self-indulgent stories, and I guess yours also? Is an audience really going to give a shit about what the mechanics of this group text were? I think yes, actually. People actually seem to be engaged with this story. Anyway, you wrote #hunting club, at, I don't know, it was probably 11 p.m. Maybe it was 20 minutes after we met her, because you and her had exchanged numbers. You texted to her, and then you added me to the chat because we had all met together and we were all going to be a friend group, kind of. So there were people who were responding to the Instagram, to my reading of the text to all of those posts, being like, why would you add your friend? Why would you need to be there also? That's so weird if him and her had a thing. But it wasn't like that. We had established we're a group.
Yes.
We're the hunting club.
Of course.
And I also, we're going to come back to this as a topic, I left out that context from Instagram on purpose because people being confused by the story helps with the algorithm.
Yes.
Anyway, you wrote #hunting club and sent it and then added me. And she, I guess...
I added you that night.
I'm almost positive.
Yes, that was me
right
also
away.
Indicating friend zone pretty quickly.
And you did that right away.
Yeah.
She texted us the next day at 4 p.m. Hi, Brett, nice meeting you, and pal, whatever. And then I think after sending that text, realized that I was also in the text.
Yeah.
So maybe some of what we were getting was she was embarrassed that she referenced me without realizing I was there. But everything that she said after that was, like, I had been in that group text for 18 hours already.
Yeah, and you met her, established a relationship.
We spent the exact amount of
time.
We spent the same amount of time with her as each other. Like, me and you were both there for the whole time. You had no alone time with her.
I don't remember. Okay.
10 or 15. Well, because I went through mine and yours text conversations about this that me and you were having on the side when she was sending us the
You must have been talking to her friend.
Sure, yeah. But we were all there. Yeah. Anyway, she clearly thought that even though you friend-zoned her, that you hadn't friend-zoned her.
Right.
Or she had a shitty night and other guys were weird and she went back and was like, maybe I'll strike something up with Brett because every other guy at the matzo ball, unsurprisingly, was not that great. And so then she realized, oh yeah, this guy friend-zoned me. Who knows how drunk she was when we met her? I don't know.
Right, but she wasn't drunk when she sent us this message.
It was 5 p.m. Christmas Day.
On a Sunday. Oh, it was Christmas Day? Okay.
It was. She's Jewish, almost certainly. It was at matzo ball.
Yeah.
But she could have been drunk for Christmas. That's what I forgot about that too. It was like, it was Christmas Day.
Right.
That was a Christmas text.
So I was home alone.
You were with your parents. I was with mine.
I feel like I was here.
Or maybe you were here.
I swear that I was here.
I wasn't.
Maybe
with
I
you.
got maybe I had germs that night and I didn't go home the next day or something.
Yeah.
That's probably what happened.
What does that mean? Well, that was the night. I don't actually think we should go here, but there was a fight that we witnessed with two girls and bouncers. And
right.
I don't know if that's relevant enough for the podcast. Do you want to tell it? I'll leave that completely up to your discretion.
I think that was the most notable part of the whole night was we were leaving with two really cute girls, and right as we were waiting for this Uber, we've had a lot of Uber incidents in our singlehood lives, right? Like the Uber coming 5 minutes late just derails everything. This was a situation where the Uber came 5 minutes late, and in those 5 extra minutes, one of the girls made an awful comment to one of the bouncers.
I'll say it. Well, I'll give a little bit more of the context. It was 9 degrees outside.
Yes.
The 4 of us were all going to go to a diner.
Yes.
And we didn't want to wait outside for Ubers because they were going to freeze to death. And so we were waiting inside, and the place was closing, and they were like, you guys all have to wait outside. And the 2 girls are like, it's 9 degrees, we're not waiting outside. There was a little bit of a back and forth, and then one girl says to the bouncer, I'm not going to wait outside, I'm not some hoe from the Bronx. To a bouncer who was black.
Yeah.
And then the bouncer punched her in the face.
Right. And then they all jumped on her.
There was
everyone.
There was a skirmish. There was a pile.
I think the most interesting part about that whole thing was whether you and I were going to get involved in the skirmish and just jump in there. But
I was about to, and then I saw there were male bouncers entering the scene, and then I was like, we're going to end up in the hospital.
Yeah, so we didn't get involved, and I definitely felt some level of I'm not a man because I didn't get involved in this fight.
What should we have done?
We did exactly what was
appropriate.
Tackle the
female bouncers who are beating up these girls we just met, so that the male bouncers can then punch us in the back of the head. That's what would have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we got in a cab with them and dropped them off, and then we went home.
And FaceTime with them for an hour and a half.
Right here.
Fell in love.
Right here.
And then never saw them again.
Yeah. I mean, one of them was nice. And is she going to see this?
It's possible. She watches my stories still.
Your sister might be racist. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was like, my sister ain't.
Kayla, your sister might be racist. She at least was racist one
Hey,
time.
they're from the South.
Okay.
It would fit the
Oh
brand.
my god. They live on the Upper West Side, though.
Okay, let's no longer give any more details.
Okay. They live in an apartment where Stephen A. Smith used to live.
Yeah.
Okay, so the other story.
Yes.
I feel like there's nothing else that we need to say about the story. It's more the implications, because I've been thinking about this all week of how I structure my social media posting, and this is what this podcast is for. We don't have a name for it yet. We're going to talk about our social media lives.
Sure.
Okay. So all of this context that we just gave, I could have put that in the video. No one would have watched. I don't know that for sure, but it's much harder to grab people when you're like, okay, so this was the scene. It was this and this and this, and it was like these people, we were at this place. Like, I didn't say it was a Jewish singles event. I didn't say it was Christmas Eve. I didn't say it was a nightclub. I didn't say anything.
Right. You basically presented it as crazy person texting this.
Well, what I say is I show the hi Brett text, and then I say out loud, like, okay, so then Brett added me to the group, and here's what we got after.
Yeah.
That's all I said. Someone was like, could you put in the caption off screen what the context was? That probably is a good point. I probably should do that. That's the middle ground.
Okay.
But because people don't know what I'm talking about, they have to listen longer to figure out what I'm saying.
Yes.
And then also, even if they do that and they still are a bit confused, then they're going to start commenting because they're curious.
Right.
So one of the main principles of social media, and I don't want to go into like a preachy Chris Williamson mode. Like, I'm really on guard for this right now after watching Chris Williamson and Stephen Bartlett, and I'm like, they're just giving quotes, and I don't want to talk like them.
Yeah.
As much as I love those two guys.
Yeah.
I don't want to speak like them.
You could never.
I could never, because I don't have a British accent like either of those guys. I don't want to start saying, well, this is how you do this thing on social media, and the algorithm works better because this influencer said this thing. I'm just going to say it. This is a lot of caveating. From my experience, it seems like when you leave people in a state of confusion a little, there's a sweet spot. Like, if they're too confused, they're just going to click off. But if they're just curious but a little bit confused, they're going to start engaging with the video in the comments, and they might even send it to other people being like, what do you think this means?
Right.
And so is it disingenuous to do that? Because I've gotten so addicted to this now that I feel like it's hard for me to really connect with answering that. I'm like, it's working, so I'm just going to do it.
Severance, they do the same thing.
You're comparing my Instagram to Severance.
Yeah.
The biggest praise that
you don't know what's going on.
The biggest compliment you've ever given me. Are you saying the writers of Severance are using
Severance?
The writers of Severance.
I feel like that should be said 10 times fast. The writers of Severance.
The writers of Severance. We already have mics. I don't know why.
The writers of Severance have gone on repentance. It's Christmas eventedness. Okay. Evidence.
I'm using cliffhangers on Instagram as well as Ben Stiller is using cliffhangers on Severance. Thank you.
Well, don't that show like started in such a weird place. You're like, I feel like with Severance, you didn't know what was going on for the first like 6 episodes, right?
This really is a good recap of 2025. We're going to start at the beginning of the year when Severance came out.
Right.
Season 2.
And we watched the winter episode, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much, I think, what's happening here. Yeah, you're basically like starting people in the middle of a story. It's the same thing that James Bond movies use, where like the first scene of James Bond movies is usually like a fight chase scene. Same with Mission Impossible. So that's basically what you're doing.
So you could say it would make sense to start in the middle, go back to the beginning, provide some context, then continue. I have done that in some. I think what is going to seem off-putting and weird, and I'm even feeling it right now, I don't know if you are, is that...
I'm numb right now.
Okay. We actually are outside. The moon is here. This is outdoors. I know it might look like there's a couch here, but we're actually outside.
Neil Armstrong got nothing on us.
We both got to the moon.
We're on the moon, baby.
2 guys, 1 moon.
I want to go to the moon.
I was wondering how long it would be until you started singing on this episode.
It's a Kanye song I just did, though. Cut that shit.
We're going to cut that out.
Okay.
And cut.
I broke my Kanye streak. I hadn't listened to Kanye in like 200 days.
Okay.
And I blocked him on Spotify. And then I caved like 2 days ago and listened to like his 2 new songs on Bully. And they were not bad. They were good, actually.
It's uncontroversial that Kanye's good at music.
I know.
That's an uncontroversial. It's a cold take.
It was kind of like a porn hot streak, though, where like you don't watch porn for a long period of time, and then when you break that, you feel kind of shitty about yourself. That's how I feel about breaking my Kanye listening habits.
You're clip farming so hard right now. That's such a good clip. I didn't even want to talk. That's already. So there should be an AI that as soon as you say something, like in a span of time that would be good for an Instagram clip / TikTok clip, it would be good for an Instagram clip or it would be good for a TikTok clip. Do you know what I'm doing right now?
No, I kept listening to my own joke in my head. I stopped listening.
Your joke was good. It's not.
I knew I had nothing to do now, so like I was like, let him talk for a minute. I have nothing to add.
I'm doing the thing where I need to say the word Instagram and then I need to say the same sentence again with the word TikTok, because if you say the word TikTok on an Instagram reel, the algorithm suppresses it, and vice versa. If you say the word Instagram on a TikTok, then the TikTok algorithm hears the word Instagram and suppresses that. So in order to make clips for both platforms, I need to say the story using the word Instagram, and then I need to say the story again using the word TikTok.
What if you said Tickgram?
I haven't tried that. I have not tried that. I haven't tried that. Okay, I have the point. Comparing my philosophy takes or social skills takes on Instagram, that's a very different category of content, information, entertainment than a fucking TV show.
Yeah.
So does the same strategy make sense for both? I think to some extent, yes. Like the name of the game of any form of media is capturing attention. So even though it's a very different thing to get people hooked on a show versus getting people to watch your 40-second video about how to go up to a girl and flirt with her, those are very different things. There's still an element of human psychology around cliffhangers, that's to your point, that actually applies to both things.
But it's working for you, right?
People are getting angry, though.
One really angry one.
There are like four. I also don't, these people could be bots. I don't even know.
Let's say, assume they're people.
Yeah.
Even though on TikTok, whenever someone follows me, I oddly assume they're a bot. But on Instagram, when they follow me, I don't. It's weird.
That is weird. You just said the word TikTok and Instagram, but I don't know that those are interchangeable for our edit.
Yeah.
Like, I would need to clip the word TikTok from over here and the word Instagram from over here and reverse them.
Right.
In what you just said. Because you use them both in the same sentence.
How about when I go on the Chinese app?
That's going to be worse. That's going to be worse. That's going to get you banned from both platforms.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Okay, let's make this more relevant, because I have no ethical, moral, or even philosophical.
Are you actually concerned about this?
That's what I'm saying. No.
Or are you pandering to someone?
I'm doing two things. The pandering is a side effect. That's not my intention. I don't want to.
If we weren't doing a podcast, like,
let me tell you the two things that
about this?
Well, I'm sort of building into it because we're doing a podcast. If we were sitting here, I might have skipped a couple minutes of that. This is what I'm actually concerned about. One, does it work? Is it sustainable long term to do this strategy? If it works, then who cares? If it's working, like, not just in terms of views and comments and followers, but follower retention, do they stick around? So if it works on all those metrics, I'll keep doing it. The second point, which is more relevant right now, I think, is, are you comfortable doing it? Because if I've established, here's the social media strategy that works, what is your resistance to using it?
Right. I don't think I have a resistance to using it. I have a resistance to being polarizing, which is different than a resistance to leaving out a detail or two.
That's a form of polarizing, though.
I mean, but ultimately, I don't view, like, the post that you got in, like, that someone got angry at on Tickgram. I feel like
this is gonna be hard.
Talk o'clock.
This is gonna be a hard episode.
Talk o'clock. Taco Falls.
Tick-tock o'clock.
The post that
Fall.
created a lot of attention on TikTok. I just felt like you were telling a dating story, and I didn't feel like it actually was that polarizing. I guess I was shocked at the response.
Yeah, well, the reason it didn't feel polarizing to you specifically is because you knew the story because you were there.
Yes, but, like, you literally, I'm quick summarizing, you were like, I met some girl, the girl felt that I was doing kind of like a shtick, and, you know, and then how did you end it? I felt bad about myself.
No, it was. I felt like that she was worried I was doing a shtick.
Yes.
But in reality, I think she was just testing me,
Right.
and I failed the test, and I got nervous about it, and then it just deteriorated to where we were just friendly, but it was nothing bad.
That sounds completely normal.
But I didn't say it that way in the video.
Okay, yeah, sure. And then, but I think what's my resistance? I've overcome the resistance of like only posting once a day. I mean, if we want to get into my shit right now,
We're doing. That's what we're. No. This was the segue.
Take out all the names that I'm gonna fuck you to.
I thought you were gonna pull out another microphone for some reason. It's like, here's the real mic with the real audio.
I feel like because I'm tired right now, I'm in a no fucks given mode, so it's good.
That's why I intentionally delayed the start of this episode by an hour so that we would get to your little like delirious and woozy.
Sure.
And I've drugged you a bit, and you can just kind of, yeah.
I've been getting a lot of opinions on my social media. One of the opinions, ironically, was my sister and I were talking about how I'm getting like very feisty on social media a lot now, and she's like, "You're funny, by the way. Where's that sense of humor?" And it's interesting because like whenever I want to post, it's like out of this feistiness as opposed to like a silliness. You might disagree. There's probably a couple that were more silly than others, but a lot of it's like, I need to get this shit out. But I've started posting like 4 or 5 times a day, taking a page out of your book.
We're pandering to someone right now.
And Hermosi?
Me.
Anyway, I'm posting 4 or 5 times a day, and now I'm getting a lot of feedback on my posting. Whereas I feel like I've been posting for 6 years, 7 years.
Just a lot less frequently.
And I've never gotten really that much feedback to then get like 7 or 8 close trusted friends all giving me feedback in like 3-day period was crazy. And so I think I've overcome the posting like 5 or 6 times in one day. Like now we're doing that. I don't know if it's working, but I mean, today I have 27 new TikTgram followers.
This bit's over.
Today end of bit. Today I have the most TikTok growth I've had ever. Like 27 new followers on TikTok. I've posted 6 times.
You just have to
today.
say social media instead of Instagram. Starting from this point, unless it's funny. Because if it's funny, then we can use it. If we're just talking logically, just do social media instead of Instagram or TikTok. Then we can have global appeal. Okay. Continue.
I don't think I'm being very fun right now in my description of this. I'm a little angry.
That's good.
Okay.
Let me give the counter to this. Well, one, I think some of your angry posts are funny. Like, I'm an angry little bitch. Like, that was funny.
Right.
That's fake angry. There's a hint. If it's going to be funny, there's always a hint of truth in it. It was performative anger.
Well, it's like
humor.
the Brian Johnson tweet. Is that what we call it now? Still?
Is
that going to get blocked? Is that going to get blocked on social
Johnson's
media?
X post.
Is it a post or a tweet?
It's I don't care.
Okay. Anyway, yeah.
Let's not talk about him. Maybe we'll come back to him.
No,
but you're saying it was like
my point was he was being genuine, so it was funny.
Right, and he's kind of in on it. Like he's saying what he really thinks, but he's sort of exaggerating it a bit because he knows people will find it funny.
I'm not in on it. I'm like being angry. I'm in on it with you.
When you say I'm just an angry bitch, like there's a comedic energy to it.
Yes.
If you watch that back, you're kind of smiling.
I'm in on it with you.
That's great though, because you shouldn't be thinking about the audience when you're recording something.
Right.
It's just us here.
Right.
Yeah, fuck these people. Fuck you guys.
Well, that's why I think I'm a little angry because like some of this stuff we're rehashing
right now.
I'm like, it's not interesting to me, and I don't want to hear it again. So I'd rather cover some new territory.
I did think before we started this, I'm like, what can I make you think about that you haven't thought about before?
Right.
Okay. Or at least that we haven't talked about before, so it's new. But we've already talked about like the biases where. Let's talk about this. This is
and family and friends. Yeah, continue.
This is different but related because we've only briefly talked about this. Both of us have feelings of jealousy about everyone all the time.
Okay, yeah.
People don't acknowledge this.
Yeah, sure.
Whenever anything good happens to anyone you know, there's a tiny percentage where it's like, damn, I wanted that. Even if they're getting a thing that you didn't want, you're like, I wanted a win of a different kind. Someone gets into a relationship, you're like, it's okay. So I'm going to make it relevant to me and you, just as an anecdote, just as an example of this. we definitely have had, and it's weird to think about this because for a while, like, you were the relationship guy.
Somewhat.
For the first 5 years of our friendship, it was I had none of that.
True. Yeah.
So we probably in the last year have had, for different reasons, where like I would be jealous that you're like getting attraction, like a girl's into you that we are meeting out if we're like both were talking to her, and then you would have jealousy that I'm like in something that's more real.
Sure.
And if it was flipped, we'd be jealous for the exact opposite reasons.
Yes.
It's not that we both prefer one or the other. I mean, we do, but it's not about that. It's just like, I want the thing I'm not getting right now. Someone else is winning, I would like to win.
Yeah.
Like, we are
or
that,
someone else is losing.
and I'm happy that I'm not losing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are that petty. Like, I just want to say that out loud because people will respond to this and be like, "Oh, you guys are fucking weird that you have these reactions." Like, good people don't have the, and I've gotten this from social media comments where people will say, "Oh, there's something wrong with you that you're having thoughts of jealousy when someone that you are close with wins, or happiness if they're losing, because like if they're falling a bit, you're now above them slightly." I actually looked this up. I think I told you this. I looked this up on ChatGPT, where I kind of like posed this question a few different ways. And I was like, am I crazy? Do people have this response where there's a comparison game being played in the mind whenever you hear about anything happening to anyone else at all?
Why don't we get real then?
Okay.
So if
I'll just give the answer to that.
Sure.
What it said, what the AI said. It said almost every single human has that in their psychology for sure. Most people just aren't aware they're having it. I trust the AI on these things. That's a whole rabbit hole that we're not going down. Like, is ChatGPT or Grok, like, are they lying to us? I mean,
Grok feels like it is.
Sam Harris was just talking about this today. He's like, Grok, I think most of the time is still good, but like it's questionable. He's like, the other ones though, I think like they're just aggregating the internet for the most part. You could type it into Google if you don't want to go with, like, you can cross-reference. Anyway, every human for the most part feels these like jealousy comparison games with other people. Most of us are not self-aware enough to know we're doing it.
Right.
All right. What were you gonna?
I was just gonna use a real example.
Yeah.
Of one of my, me and him had a dynamic where, you guys were stronger than me, and maybe like in terms of intelligence you had us beat, but like the three of us all kind of had we all kind of had one category over like one of the other ones. You're talking about
one of us was better at dating, one of us was better at
intelligence and strength.
Yeah.
And like, let's say, right. So when you started upping your game in dating, it challenged my position in the friend group of, wait, the only thing I had over them, my friends,
right,
was over you, was dating. And when I even started to grow in my dating and just in general, then fucking dynamics, who we all were friends, but then jealousy gets in the way. And I'm not going to psychoanalyze that situation, but I can relate it to us.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I want you to win. Of course I want you to win.
Yeah.
But when you started winning more than me in a category that I thought I was better than you at, it completely challenged the dynamics.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, I don't like this at all. Now I've processed it and I'm like, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck cares? Because if you and I are trying to be incredible human beings, then I think if you're number one and I'm number two, or we're tied 1A and 1B, like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because I'm not competing against you. I'm competing against me. And I've come to terms with that. That took me a while to figure out, but created an end of a friend dynamic because of growth and because of jealousy and all that shit. So yeah, I deal with it. That's a real example.
That's a really real example. Will we edit names out? Probably. You probably won't have heard them. It'll be like, I wonder who he's talking about. Anyway, I think it's weird because what you actually want is to not have the jealousy and not have the comparison happen in your mind at all. So this is really what's going on psychologically, I think. Like, let's say one of these incidents happens where, I mean, I'll make it other direction. Like, I'm at one of your shows. Yeah. We have 100 of our friends that are there to cheer you on, and I'm just part of the crowd. Like, it's your event, you're the star, and I'm filming it / just being a fan amongst the other fans. So if I feel like a pang of jealousy of that situation. I'm like, man, I want the attention right now. Like we usually are equals, and this is like we've thrown parties where we co-throw the party,
Right.
10-year anniversary party, or just things that we do a lot of things where it's like all our friends are there for us equally.
Right.
But in a setting like that, it's your thing.
Right.
So if I feel the half a second pang of jealousy, you could argue that it would be better to try to not feel it, because I would be practicing not engaging with it. Like that would be one way to try to get it to dissipate. I could hear that argument. It's like, just don't even engage with that. Just like brush it aside. But I don't think that that actually works. I think that what does work is to actually call it up fully to the surface, like into front of consciousness for a second or two, be like, this is dumb. Like this is an ego-based thing. I'm aware of it. And now I'm going to realize that I'm aware of it, and now I'm just going to think about something else.
Well, the silly part about it is like you'll have a 0.5% jealousy when I'm playing a show. That's a short-term 3-hour party. I'll then look at your social media and be like, oh boy, I have a 0.5 jealousy percentage of all the follower growth that you've had.
Sure.
And so it's just, I think, a constant reminder of like, what are we doing with this jealousy? It's like you're jealous of this thing, I'm jealous of this thing of you, and it's like we're missing the bigger picture, because at the end of the day, we're like we're animals, and we're competing with our closest proximity in our tribe. You know, like, and so it's like I'm sure Matthew McConaughey has got some friend. My dad, 2 of his best friends, like they're these 3 best friends, and they compete with things like their whole life, and it's like, what are you guys doing? You guys are killing it. You're the top 1% of America. Like, but you're still going to compete. So I don't really know. I don't know how you get rid of that.
Well, I do agree with you. It doesn't matter, because I think this is what you were kind of implying. It doesn't matter that like the thing that you're jealous of in me is more of a longer term thing, and I'm jealous of you in a shorter term thing, because you could reframe both of those. Like I have stuff that's gone viral now. It by no means indicates that will continue.
Right.
And I could reframe your music career is like, it's only going up from here. Even though it's only 3 hours, it's like I have to engage with the fact that there's a chance that you're playing stadiums at some point, and it's only going to get harder to deal with that.
Yeah. But I think I more so meant that like just reminding ourselves that like you're jealous of me for something and I'm jealous of you for something.
I think it doesn't matter what those things are. It's silly regardless. Like,
Yeah.
Because it's always just flipping.
Right. But when you're feeling jealousy in the moment, it's kind of like, oh wait, that person gets jealous of me too, and like it all doesn't matter. And
you're saying to call that to mind, to just
I
just
don't think that's
acknowledge
really helpful, but
I think
something.
it is. No, I think acknowledging the absurdity of things is the easiest hack for dealing with things almost always. You're like, this whole thing is so stupid.
Yeah.
Like we at bottom want the best for each other, but we also have to acknowledge that there's evolutionary hardwiring in all of us that we want to compete and win.
It's the
so you just
alpha of
play
the tribe.
both. It's 2 competing ideas that are simultaneously true. Like, one, I want you to have the best life you could possibly have, and at the same time, I want to fucking crush you because my evolution's like that's just what's in there.
This is why bands break up.
Yeah.
How do you keep the dynamics of that? The Jonas Brothers are literal brothers broke up, and they're back. Just in case anyone missed the last 5 years, that they've been back together for 5 years. But like, come on.
Yeah.
Every what bands stay together? The 1975 have been together like 20 years.
But the way that this is going, I'll let you finish it
Yeah.
because it could be a good clip.
I know. I was like, is this going to get some? We can tag Matty Healy. No, we can move on. I don't really,
you already did the Jonas
I
Brothers
think
one.
we've talked about
Well, I think it's
jealousy
not.
a lot.
I don't think it's a proper analogy because it's not like that's a like a limited structure of a thing, like a band or a business. But like a friendship or a relationship, those are
right.
Those are not. They're not as goal oriented.
Right.
Like you can break up in the band but remain friends.
Right.
Like that's much more of an isolated, compartmentalized thing. So what's the answer to having... I don't want it to seem like what I was saying is that I both want you to win and I want to beat you are equal. It's not. It's one of them is like 98% and the part where I want to beat you is like 2%.
Right.
And the goal is not to eliminate it because it's impossible.
Right.
The goal is to keep it in check so that you don't repress the feelings and then we have a blow up. Because what most people I think will do, the 2% is going to be there regardless, but if you ignore it for like a year, resentment builds and then you have some kind of tantrum or argument or fight yeah, this happened in our other example of nameless people because I've edited them out. Yeah, because if you don't talk about it all the time, then there's a chance that it just bubbles to the surface later. And is it annoying to have to talk about like, what I want to get to next is, what the fuck is this conversation?
Yeah.
Like, is this the most obnoxious and useless thing in the world that me and you are going to sit here and talk about our friendship dynamic to other people or even just to ourselves, which we actually do
it's like
without an audience all the time.
stroking.
Right. It's like, we're so interesting that we're going to talk about our own psychology in relation to each other. What a cool thing. I do think, without being too self-aggrandizing, and I hate that I have to do these caveats,
I know,
and it's
they're
not
annoying.
It's not for the audience. I just feel that. If no one was here, I might do them less, but I still
Well, you
probably
wouldn't
would feel
have
the
to because I
inclination.
know where you're coming from.
I know, I'd be like, I'm the best fucking person ever on earth, and I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. I would just talk like that, and I wouldn't.
Right.
Yeah, but, we are not perfect, and the cameras being here still affect how we communicate. Anyway, I do think us sorting through our dynamic, even though there's very little direct advice being given to other people, but I think other people watching us kind of sort through this and sort through the intricacies of it is helpful for other people maintaining their relationships.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going with it too. I'm like, if you and I can open up the can of worms that we've opened up before, because I feel like then we can help others.
There's nothing we don't talk about at this point.
Yeah, but I feel like 3 months ago we were in a worse place in my mind.
Sure, but there's been ebbs
frustrated.
and flows. Like
Yeah.
that, it wasn't like it started 3 months ago and we all of a sudden figured out how to communicate. We had like a lull,
Right.
where before that, in a prior period, we were exactly like this.
Yeah.
I do think prior to COVID, we never talked like this. Prior to like the start of 2023, maybe we never talked like this. This is a few years that it's
Yeah.
only been this way.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. Like over the summer, we kind of brushed all of this aside, and we would have like random bursts of animosity towards each other.
Well, I feel like you were going out a lot, and I was trying to keep pace, but I literally couldn't keep pace to try to protect my voice, to try to focus on my music goals. And so that was where like the jealousy competition was coming in, because I'm like, man, I want to be going out and having fun and meeting unbelievable girls and having a great dating life, but I also have these goals that don't totally align. And so like you and me having lived together for 10 years, and well, it doesn't matter about the 10 years, the last year matters. We have
Yeah.
similar goals, but we're not on the same life path. And I feel like ultimately what this whole conversation is turning into is like, how do straight white men have friendships that last forever?
You love saying straight. You did this a year ago in January. You were like, just to be clear, we go to the sauna together, we go to the gym together, we're not in bed together.
Right.
And yeah, it's like you gotta let people imagine. This is there's so much deja vu happening right now.
Yeah.
But I definitely agree with the point.
Yeah, like that's what this episode is
We're
currently.
trying to teach people to have friendships. Because
Yeah.
I think we can go here a bit, because you
Sure.
sort of, like, we've lost so many friends.
Yeah, I thought we might go.
The way that I just said that, it sounded like I was saying people are dead. We've lost so many friends. No, all of them are fine, I think. I mean, I don't know for sure because we don't talk to
You'd
them
have
that
to
much
define
anymore.
what fine is.
As in not physically ill.
Okay.
Okay.
Like meaning breathing.
Yeah. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think any of them are dead. But I don't want to tally it up, but there's a few dozen people collectively that the two of us have stopped being friends with in the last 18 months.
Yeah. Is jealousy the root of it?
Is it the root of what broke the friendships up?
Yeah.
Well, I want to answer that for ourselves first.
Okay.
Like, I'll make it just about me first. Why have I not done more to resolve those situations? I think a past version of me would keep people around knowing that there were deep flaws in the friendships and relationships, because I think addiction is the wrong word for this, but I don't know how else to say it. It was fun to have people in your circle who you can talk shit about when they leave the room, because you get to have enemies, which gives you like this big dopamine hit all the time to like, oh, I'm friends with you, but like I also am kind of not friends with you. And so my other friends, we can kind of gang up on you. Like, imagine that your whole friend group, just to give the counterexample, everyone is just totally positive towards each other all the time. Yeah. There's no gossip. There's no shit talk. Everyone is exactly on the same page, and it's just vibes through the roof. Imagine 5 people who are friends like that. There's an element of that that's boring.
Right. But also, this sounds like something that happens later in life. Like, you're not getting this at 20 years old. You're not emotionally mature enough. Like, there's going to be shit talkers in every friend group.
Most people, I think, never get there.
Yeah, that's what I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I can think of, I don't want to say it, like, whatever.
Yeah.
There are people I know in their 60s who have friends who are like, I mean, it's a tough thing because it's like, do we stop being friends with the person? They like us, but we also don't like them that much. Yeah. So it's either kick them to the curb because it's like, listen, I just don't like spending time with you, or you keep them around, but then when they, you're at a party and they're not there, you kind of make fun of them.
Yeah. In this moment, I'm like, of course I would kick them to the curb because that's where I'm at these days. But then I do think there's still this people pleaser in me. That I'm not like as sharp, but I'm pretty damn good. Well,
I don't think you would kick them to the curb. Maybe you're imagining it differently, like a different use of that term.
I'm picturing curb stomping now.
Then we're the same. Then we're thinking of the same thing. No, what we would do now, I think, is when you did this, there's an example of you doing this like a week ago, where you just say, hey, like, you're not acting in a way that a close friend of mine would act. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like those conversations are so uncomfortable that previous versions of me would just never do that. There's just no way I would have ever done that. Even now, there are a couple situations where I just let them fade when I do think there's a chance that a conversation like that could resolve the situation. But it's just so much easier to not do that, to just sort of let the person drift from your life and text them less often, see them less often, stop making plans with them, and then over time you just grow apart and then it's over. Right. And maybe that's, I think part that there's an element to that that's just perfectly natural, and that's just growing up. But there are certain people where it's like they meant more to me than that. Like that should not be what happened. Sure. There's an element of fear, and there's just a lack of comfort in it because it's such an odd thing to do. There's like an element of shame and embarrassment to being like, let me text this person and be like, hey, I feel like we're growing apart. Let's have a chat. That just feels so difficult.
I mean, we can talk more real. I left my high school group chat like 3 weeks ago. That was definitely weird. I feel like I've had that for 15 years, but it was like too negative. And even all the guys in it, like we all acknowledge that it's like the worst versions of us typically, like cesspool energy. Mm. So a lot of guys understood why I left, but that I was definitely, I don't miss it, but I miss it enough to talk about it right now because I do feel like it's really, it's like we have, this whole year has been like creating an identity for myself that feels different, and it's like maybe a lot of friends or maybe old friends this is true. Old friends see you in a certain way, and when you change, that can be really hard for the old friends to continue. Like the dynamics are just different. Why do people no longer be friends? The dynamics change. Yeah. And so like this year happened to be a year of a lot of new dynamics in both of our lives. And I don't know. I feel like this feisty version of myself, I'm not hiding him as well as I used to. And I was talking, I mean, this is Matthew McConaughey, but I loved it. He was like on Chris Williamson's podcast talking about difference between a nice guy and a good man. Mm. And I was on a date a couple weeks ago talking about this concept with this girl, who's an amazing girl, by the way. But she, like, I was just like, I don't want to be a nice guy to you. Like, I want to be a good man. I want to tell you my intentions. And usually when that happens, I get pretty, like, feisty. And so to kind of bring us back, because I've been now going for a minute or two, I just feel like every day that goes by, I thought you were actually going to say that you want these conversations more and more now, because you do, and I do. And when I don't get to have them, I actually get disappointed.
I want them and I don't want them. You feel the same. It's like they're this unbelievable thing for personal development, but they're also highly uncomfortable. So in two very different ways, it's my favorite thing possible and also my least favorite thing possible. I mean, there's a bunch of things like that. Imagine the hardest workout that you could possibly do is both incredible and horrifying. You're like, my whole body hurts. It's excruciating, but I also love it. That's kind of what it is. I feel like I do think it's in that category. I'm not having this major resistance to it. It's so many confounding variables is the problem, because you could spin it one way where you're like, yeah, I should have this conversation with this person because it will be good for my personal development. And then at the same time, it's like, but this person has treated me so poorly, I should have a boundary and just let it go.
Right.
They've done something that I just don't find acceptable, and I've already told them and they haven't apologized for it. Because I've done it this way too, where, we talked about it during our breakup episode.
I'm wondering if we're covering similar ground.
Yeah, she's from 2 years ago almost now, where I said, like, no, you have failed to apologize for a thing that we've, like, very clearly laid out was not acceptable, and I don't necessarily want to hear the apology. And that is sort of a test to say it like that. It's like, if what I got back from that statement was, no, I'm sorry, then I'd be like, all right, let's talk about it. That's a whole rabbit hole too. It's like, you tell someone not to apologize to you and then they don't. You did tell them not to, you know?
Yeah, but someone who gives a shit should try a little harder.
Just to try a bit, just a little. I know that it makes me sound, I feel like this is female psychology. I'm a woman that I'm like, you should fight for me. But
right.
Like, I'm not saying fight. I'm just saying one fucking sentence that indicates, no, I'm still invested a little. Yeah. Which didn't happen in that situation, so I just let it end.
Yeah.
So, but sometimes people are so toxic, and not toxic as a detriment to their character as a person, full stop, but just toxic to you. The dynamic is too toxic. They're a toxic force on your life. Sometimes they're toxic enough that you just let them go.
Well, we're trying to get rid of toxic energy as far as negativity. So people that are stuck in these negative spirals, like, we don't have time for that, you know? And it's hard. I feel like even I was seeing someone earlier this year. What are some of the terms I've used on, like,
folks from my past?
Folks from my past. I was going out with someone earlier this year, and it was like there was some negative energy, but I felt like I helped get both of us into, like, a positive headspace. And so every time I was like, I don't know why I'm making this point. The point I really wanted to make was negative people, get them the fuck out of our lives. Yeah. I don't really have a point. I'm going to stop. I don't need to talk about that. I'll finish
the point for you, because maybe this is what you wanted to say but forgot to say.
It felt performative.
Okay. Then we'll just break the podcast. That's the end of the show. Yeah. Once it gets performative for a second, the episode's over.
It was like I'm teaching. I'm going to teach you that you can go out with a girl and she can be negative and you can make her better.
All right, I'll try to say it better than you.
Yeah.
Let's improve on your point. I'll just let me just show how much better I am than you, so I can win, so I can feel good about myself and you can feel worse, and it'll feed my evolutionary desires. I forgot now. No, I got it. There are situations where you have a negative person in your life, either a friend or someone you're dating, and they're negative. There's a lot of negativity there, and there's enough that's good, and the negativity is not so bad, like the whole sum of the person. There's enough that is worth saving that it's like, let's talk about it. And then there are other times where it's so much of that it's not worth it. And one of the most important things for me, I don't know if you've thought about it like this, but I think you probably view your personal development similarly, is getting enough clarity on your own mind so that you believe that you're the kind of person who can actually delineate between the overly toxic person and the person who just triggers you. Because what feels like a toxic person a lot of times is just someone who's, a complicated person with good and bad things. They're flawed, but they just tend to trigger you. They have certain things about them that just kind of poke at something in you, and that in those situations, it's your own fault. There's a difference between a person with really bad behavior and a person with kind of mixed behavior, but you just can't deal with it.
I don't think I've experienced that in a while, though. That's not what I felt
Well,
over the
flip it
summer.
around. Our friend that we were talking about,
Yeah.
that's his relationship to
Nameless
you.
Joe.
Nameless Joe thinks
Sleepy Joe.
He thinks you're toxic.
Right.
Right. He believes you're toxic.
Gotcha.
And so any honest observer of the situation would probably say that you have had toxic-ish tendencies in your past. We all have bits and pieces still. Like, no question. Neither of us are perfect. A prior version of you had more of it, just like I did. But whatever. This is just, not to say I'm better than this, just that specifically to this situation, this is about you and him. There were things about you like your, I don't know, blindness to maybe other people's...
true intent. True feelings about me, I would say.
Yes, your situational awareness was not that high.
Yes, I couldn't really pick up shit.
You wouldn't know if someone was like, you're telling someone a long story, it's like, do they actually like this story? Am I wasting their time? Do they even give a fuck about what I'm saying?
Right.
You would have some of that where like you were blind to him specifically, like his feedback, his emotional state while you were...
Yeah, well, he'd be like, what's up, buddy? Like, how are you? Like, how's it going? It was harder to tell. It still might be hard to tell.
Right,
Some people are good at faking it. You go in a
True.
relationship for a year, and my ex, we talked about the first 6 months of any relationship, she was like, it's not real.
Which I think is
not
nonsense, but
Yeah.
I understand the sentiment.
Yeah. Well,
The beginning stages, it's harder to tell if something's real.
you can fake it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can fake shit.
Yeah. Which is also why
Not
you have to bring
17
up more...
orgasms in 7 days. But
17. Okay.
I was
That-
referring to your
that
sex
you
life.
that you had?
No.
That me and you have had? I'm just gonna
Straight white males.
I'm just gonna gay it up. You don't even know about heated rivalry.
Why do I have to say white males? Like, aren't people
We're wearing
watching
white
us?
shirts. We're just very white. That's why we had to make it purple and red in here, so you can't tell our skin complexion as easily.
Right.
No, so you were triggering him. Your behavior was like toxic-ish, but what makes it such a clear case now is that you actually worked really hard to get rid of a lot of that toxic stuff. Some of it just happened with growing up.
Yeah.
Some of it happened with conscious practice. You're like, I'm meditating. I want to be a more self-aware person.
Right.
I want to be better to people. I want to be a good man, not a nice guy. Like, you're doing that.
Yeah.
So he was not really willing to engage with that change.
Right.
And so that's a very clear case where it's not that you're toxic. He's just triggered by you.
Right.
Which still could be an argument for not staying close friends anymore. But if we were to flip that situation around and you had a person who was making you feel the way that you made him feel, the right thing to do would be like, listen, you act in these ways.
Right.
And let's talk about how to resolve it. A person who has dealt with enough of their own inner stuff is much more capable of having a conversation like that. A person who hasn't dealt with their inner reality and their subconscious, all the stuff that drives them crazy and they can't figure out why, that person can't have that conversation because the conversation is just going to make them more upset.
Yeah.
So one of the projects for me and for you is we're trying to make ourselves the kinds of people that it's like, we're not going to get triggered, or it's going to happen very infrequently. And when it does happen, we're going to be able to catch it, and the duration's going to be short.
Yeah.
That's the key to everything. The key to everything with like dealing with negative emotions is that you're not going to eliminate them. This is similar to the thing about we're going to have 2% of competitive energy around each other. You can't eliminate that stuff. It's evolutionarily hardwired into our body. Like, our bodies are going to make us do that. But the key is to acknowledge it and just shorten the time the half-life of it. You shorten how long it gets you for. You lower the severity through just, I'm going to put a spotlight on this thing. And there's the expression, sunlight is the best disinfectant. Doesn't, actually, maybe it does work for COVID. I don't know. but I think it is a thing. I think psychologically it's very true. We're going to call the thing to the surface and we're going to try to figure out how to process it so that it affects us for the least amount of time possible.
Yeah.
Like, I've been angry so infrequently in the past few years, but what's probably true actually is that I've been angry more often than I realize, like more occasions of anger, but they're so short in duration because I'm so mindful of it that some of the anger bursts are so short that I don't even remember them.
Are you just talking about Sex? No. Okay.
Can you clarify?
He's had a lot of short anger durations,
You
but
think I
every
have
time they're
anger-
shorter. Every time. But they're big, short bursts of anger
You're
duration.
not doing well for this narrative that we don't, when the cameras go off, go right there. Anyway.
When the cameras go off.
We're making a sex tape, guys, at the end of the episode.
I think the biggest change for me with meditation specifically was Sam Harris's Waking Up app, sponsor us. He, at the end of a lot of the 10-minute daily meditations, he's like, all right, now begin again. That is like the number one thing that I do whenever I'm in any situation where I get a little uncomfortable. I literally am like, even right now, like the whole start of this, I was angry that we were so delayed. And so throughout this entire fucking conversation, I have to keep going, all right, begin again.
Right, the podcast is
Begin
starting
again.
right now.
Literally.
This is the beginning of the show. This is the beginning of life. We can get really woo-woo for like a half a second. Everything in your past is just your memory. The past is not real. The future never happens. I'm quoting Sam Harris kind of right now. There's no such thing as the future. There's just, you're projecting what you think might happen, and then when it gets here, it just now is the present. There is only the present.
Right.
So, in some sense, your life starts and ends at every microsecond of existence. It's all like clean slate. On some level, there's a clean slate at every single moment. If you choose to see it that way,
Yeah.
it's like whatever's happened, I'm starting now.
Right.
And that doesn't mean all your problems don't exist.
Right.
But you're a new person who has these problems to deal with.
Yeah. Well,
It's the start of the level.
I think for me specifically, it's like I was in a situation working with a girl who I was like, man, she's really attractive, and I couldn't be present for the music activity because I kept like getting lost in her. And throughout that 3-hour period, I had to keep like stopping myself and be like, come back, start again. Or the other day I was at the gym with Nameless Joe, and that gets in my head, and I start losing track of my workout. And I employed it, begin again, like, and I kept doing it, and it's so effing helpful. I love it.
Yeah. People think that's not possible. Like, I'm imagining the audience's reaction to this, because there was a clip of Sam Harris that I posted a few months ago where he was talking about if you are having an extreme pain response. The example he uses, he's like, if someone puts a nail into your knee.
I got stung by a stingray.
Okay, let's talk about the stingray, because the nail in the knee is
That was this year.
gruesome.
February.
You get stung by the stingray.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pain immediately. Very little of the pain, well, it's not possible to say that it's unbearable. That would be incorrect. There's no such thing as unbearable pain if you're alive, because every second that the pain is happening, you are bearing it.
Right.
In a literal sense, you're bearing the pain. So you have this burning sensation on your leg.
I got stung in the foot. It was
Right,
like
and then you got
7
boiling
out of 10.
water poured onto the butt.
Then I got second-degree burns, yeah.
So, okay, so you have second-degree burns on your foot, and what you have is the physical sensation of pain, of burning. But that's not what most of pain is. Most of pain is the rumination of, is this ever going to end? Am I going to have a severe medical problem? Is this going to get worse? Am I going to be able to sleep tonight? I don't know if I'm going to be able to deal with this pain for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 hours. So you're having this panic response about the future projection of the pain.
Yeah.
And your mind is saying pain, 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 pain. Like your psychology is just telling you this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. You're convincing yourself of the just terrible nature of the situation you're in. But what's literally true is there's a sensation, there's a physical sensation, and it's not unbearable because you're not dead. So if you just reframe the pain, you're like, I feel a lot of, there's a lot of potency to this situation.
Yeah.
I feel something very strongly. And what's funny is this will get flipped sometimes where people will say, I just want to feel something. The opposite of that is also bad. You're like, I'm really deeply feeling a sensation right now. And the only fact of your life at that moment is that there's a feeling of a very, very strong sensation. We go into a sauna where we're burning alive and we're like, this is fun.
Yeah.
Because of the reframe. So you actually can get to a place where you're like, and Owen has his ski accident example. Maybe we'll use this and tag him. Owen is getting airlifted, or I don't know how they got him off the mountain. He broke his leg in a ski accident.
Right.
And then he's in the ambulance and he's feeling much of what I'm talking about. Like, obviously a lot of leg pain. He just snapped his leg. And he, I guess through meditation and all of the other stuff that he does, but mostly meditation, is laughing about, he's like, this is a funny situation. Like, he's literally in the place of, yeah, I feel a strong sensation in my leg, but what a great time to be alive.
Yeah.
And he was like the ER workers and stuff, and everyone who's around him is like, this guy's insane. How is he okay? How is he happy? This is so weird. And maybe this is too extreme of an example. Like, you're not going to be happy while your leg is burning. Well, but I'll give you, just to end this point, on April 20th of 2013, I was in a kayak on 420. We had made pot brownies.
Yeah.
I'd eaten the pot brownies. We got into the kayak, and it was a kayak trip at school. And we're the first tandem to go. And whoever the leader of the trip was like, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, like, we're starting. You got to go through the rapids. It's like smooth sailing the whole next 9 hours. Like, you're just going to float on a lake. But the first 2 minutes of this, like, you got to get through the worst part of the whole river.
Okay.
So it's just straight into the rocks. And we're the first. We don't know, like, where to go, like, what the route is. So we just go full steam ahead. 10 seconds later, we're upside down. And I get out of the river, and I'm at this point, the pot brownies are really kicking in. Like, I don't know what's happening. And I look down, and there's just blood down my leg. There's this huge gash in my knee, and I can feel it. Like, I'm not numb to it. I'm like, this hurts, and I'm just giggling. And so the argument that I might be saying is, like, just get high, and then you can reframe pain as funny. Because it would be one thing to say it's a painkiller and I was numb. That's not what it was. I was just so giddy from being high, and I'm sure it numbed the pain a little, but I just found the situation hilarious. I'm like, guys, the blood, and there's water from the river, and it's just like, it's making a weird shape, and there's like a little puddle, and I was like a fish could swim in that little blood puddle that's by my foot. And I was just having such a good time that I feel like the reaction I was getting from the other people who were around me was similar, where they were like, is this guy mentally okay? Like, he's too happy for the situation. So I'm not enlightened to be able to do that in every moment. But the fact that you can get there from a drug means you can get there without a drug. The drug just affects the way the brain frames things.
Right.
You can get there just through extreme mindfulness. It's the same thing.
I mean, when I got stung, the only very quickly, I remember whenever I put pressure on my foot, it was like I couldn't put pressure on my foot. It'd make you want to, like, fall over. But the pain in my foot started to travel into my, like, quad. And I remember asking, like, all the surfers, like, oh my God, what's going on? They're like, oh, well, the pain travels if we don't kind of kill the protein, whatever, venom, with hot water. And then I was like, can this get to my dick? And they said yes. And then I literally started seeing stars, and I nearly fainted and passed out. And, like, the surf coaches and my sister had to, like, my sister, like, really grounded me. She was like, Brett, this is pain. This is temporary. Like, take a deep breath, count to 4. And, like, we started, like, a meditative thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I feel like she slowed down my heart rate and helped me kind of calm down. But the moment I nearly passed out was, like, when I envisioned the pain, like, killing all the sperm that I could ever produce.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if it's scientifically true, but the fear seems to amplify pain. So being able to suppress all of that reduces pain.
It's like the cold plunge. It's the same, right? That's pain.
Sure. Yeah. But we pretend, well, the reason that that kind of pain doesn't get you the same way is because you know the second you get out of that cold plunge, it's over.
Right.
So you can kind of view everything that way. Like, you can tell yourself this will go away.
Right, which is
and
what
almost everything there is that's true for.
Yeah.
There's very few painful... I mean, how many painful experiences have you had in your life that are still going?
Knock on plastic.
Just right now.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Plastic doesn't help.
We're good.
Wood doesn't help either. No, we're not doing that joke. But neither of us has experienced a painful thing that is still continuing at, like, physical pain or emotional pain. There's things that we're still affected by, but neither of us is in pain currently.
Yeah, well, I was going to talk to the camera about this topic, but
Okay.
I'll just hijack it and do it now.
This is the camera. You got 3 of them.
So 4 years ago when I went through my breakup, I remember her saying something about she worked in a hospital and she was going to a hospital every day. She was being very productive, and I was working remotely at the time and like living in my bedroom. It was like 2021 COVID kind of stuff. And I remember thinking and associating my bedroom with lack of productivity, with a lack of like being part of society. And that has, despite moving on and being in a very healthy way, moving on from the breakup and seeing all the bad and turning it into good and doing all that good shit, I still struggle to make music in my bedroom. And I've been struggling 4 years later. I'm still struggling to make music in my bedroom. And I literally a couple days ago was thinking, is it the conversation that I had with my ex where she made me feel, or I made myself feel this kind of way of like, oh my God, if I spend the whole day in my bedroom, like I'm not being productive, I'm not being a member of society, I'm being lazy. And now I've quit my job 9 months ago, and like I'm like, I got to start making music myself. I need to learn these skills so I can build a music career. But I have this resistance to just staying in my bedroom for 8 hours and doing it. So as far as pain that's been in our lives, that's still there. But overall, it was a completely great thing. But there is still a little bit of it. And I was like going to address it to the camera the other day.
Sure. I mean, the other point that you just raised that I think maybe we can end on is like, so the solution, I think this is very similar. We've had a few topics that are like this, where the answer is like straight through the problem or avoid the problem, like go around the problem. Because there's 2 ways to get past something, or I guess these are the 2 ways that come to mind. You go through the problem or you find another route.
Right.
So the going through the problem is you just say, I'm going to figure out how to reframe my bedroom so that I don't have this block anymore. The other way you could do it is you say, all right, I'll just work somewhere else.
Right. Not so easy to do that.
Well, imagine that it were.
Yeah.
I mean,
if it was, I would have done that.
Imagine there's a music studio on our 2nd floor, or whatever, a soundproof room.
Be amazing, yeah.
Let's not, because that'd be too easy of an example.
Yeah.
Let's imagine there's an exact replica of your bedroom.
Collins.
You would go all the way to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying imagine that you had all the stuff that you have in your room, like an exact type of situation, but it's our, like common area business center in our 2nd floor.
I'd still feel the same issue probably.
Down there.
Yeah. There's something about like, I got to get out of the apartment. I got to like go into the world.
Let's say it's next door.
Yeah.
We're going to make this a clear example. There's a good enough alternative close by.
Yeah.
Is that you resolving the issue? Yes. But is that also you not facing the deeper psychology that caused the problem in the first place? Like you're treating symptoms to do that.
Yeah.
To find the road around the problem is treating the symptoms. The actual thing, even though it might be worse in the short run, is to sit there in your room and be like, I'm going to do this here anyway.
Right.
Because I need to get at the thing in my gut that is making this, like, that just needs to be blown up. Like, you need that not to be there anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, though. Is it, like, a lack of creative inspiration in my bedroom? Because, like, I do get very inspired by, like, being around people. And so when I'm in there, it feels like I've, like, associated my bedroom with, like, rest.
Well, that's what it is. There's an association.
Yeah.
So you have to override the association. I mean, this is almost the same solution, but, like, I could imagine, so when I was bedding, and I had my desk that I don't have in there anymore, but my desk was in the corner of the room. My bed was one side of the room, my desk was the other side of the room. I'd go sit at the desk, and it would just change the visual around, like it would invert the room. So even though I'm still in my room and I can see my bed, the fact that I'm sitting in a chair facing the other way, I felt like, oh, this is my office now. Because I didn't have any sort of traumatic thing occur that made me feel like my room is only for whatever. So just a slight change in the visual inside the room, I would just feel, okay, now I'm working. And that works for a lot of people. But it doesn't get at the thing, which is when you have an irrational block. Like, your room is triggering you.
Yes.
So then it's like, all right, let's talk through it. Why do you need to be around people to get into a creative headspace?
I feel like I'm making music for to play live. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think I overall just struggle now to like not sit alone with my thoughts, but like sit alone and like tinker with shit. Mm-hmm. It's this, and this is an unresolved trauma, 100%.
It has to be because the audience is not part of your writing session regardless. If there's other people, like if you're in a coffee shop and there's people on the other parts of the you're not even communicating with them.
Right. No, but I like love the energy.
Right, the energy.
It feels like I'm in an office.
But it would be something. A superpower to create the impression of that energy in your mind without needing it.
Which Colin's he's able to do that. It's amazing. But also like when I would go to write with him, this is becoming therapy now of just selfish.
What do you think this has been the whole time?
Yeah. No, when I go to him, I'm like, oh, this is like a meeting that I have. This is like an appointment. This is me going out and doing like a co-writing thing. Like there's a commitment there. Whereas I keep breaking the commitment to myself to be like, all right, Brett, learn how to produce your own music because you can probably make insane shit. And like for 4 years, I've been resisting this. I was reading my journals from 3 years ago. Every year I'm like, I need to learn how to make my own music. Mm-hmm. And every year I haven't done it since the breakup in early 22. Yeah.
I want to finish that thread though, because New Year's resolutions tend to be, because I've just watched Williamson and Bartlett for like, I'm halfway through their episode, but all of the stuff is the going around the problem stuff.
Yeah.
Williamson's like, put your phone in the living room when you go to bed, or put it on the opposite side of the room so that when you wake up in the morning, you don't immediately start scrolling. You know what would be better than that? You put your phone next to your pillow. You put it right there, like 2 inches from your fucking ear. And then you wake up in the morning and you go, fuck you, phone, like I'm not going to pick it up. And then you just go about your day. Because, like, even though you have to exert more force to do that, the payoff, the benefit of that is like, there's a thing that I have a habit and I am consciously breaking that habit, and being able to do that in one setting makes it easier to do it in every setting of your life. It's like, let me make things harder for myself actually and win anyway, because then when because this is a stupid game, like the phone, what room it's in, what part of your room it's in, there's not any real global impact to that. It's not that important.
I was about to say to you, well, dude, we don't have our phones on this table right now for a reason. I'm going to counter your point. However, we need the phones to film.
Yes.
So like,
the phones do something.
We wouldn't do a podcast with our phones here. That would be, we could do it.
No, but let's say we did that. Okay, fine. We'll make that the real example. Let's say me and you put our phones face up and notifications were coming in on both phones the whole time, and we had to exert force to not look at them. That's a stupid exercise that is only, it's confined to just this environment.
Yeah.
But being able to do that well, actually, when you have another problem in a much more important category, you're training, and this was the whole premise of this entire podcast. Like episode 1 of Not That Cold was about this. There's an area in the brain that when you do hard things, it grows and it gets better at doing other hard things.
Yeah.
So the argument could be, fuck your New Year's resolutions. Just make things more difficult for yourself in confined settings where it actually makes sense to do that, so that when you have actual challenges, they're easier. You're going to the gym for your mind, and I guess putting your phone on the table while you're talking to someone or filming a podcast, that's like a dumb way to do it.
Well, I mean, it's like you go to coffee with someone, I'll put the phone face down.
Sure.
You know? And like that's easy. Right now, what I'm dealing with also is, and I'm sure I know you're dealing with the same thing. It's like everything that we do without our phones, it's like life only exists in between checking TikTok and not checking TikTok. If like we're doing this activity and then we're going to be done and we're going to be like, how many followers did I get now? You know, so that's kind of where the sickness currently lives in me.
Yeah, like I want to stop the podcast so that I can check how many new Instagram likes I have in the last hour.
Because you're like, let's be tough and let's like look at these cameras and like.
No, what I'm actually saying, the let's be tough, is to sit there with my phone and not touch it.
No, I love it. It's great.
Yeah, but like we're just not going to do that.
Yeah, I know.
But like New Year's resolution of, all right, for an hour a day, I'm going to put my phone in a box that I can't access. Like the thing in Social Dilemma where they lock the phones away. There's like a device that people will use where you set a timer and it makes your phone locked away and you physically can't get to it for a certain period of time. Yeah, like that would be a good hack for product. That would be a great productivity hack. If your phone is literally not available to you, you're going to get more stuff done.
Like a bathhouse.
But you
it's
don't,
like
right.
I don't use the Wi-Fi there because I'm like I don't want to be tempted to check my phone.
The answer to this is both.
Yeah.
Just to give, because like this is a lot of rambling from both of us. The answer is both. You want to do things that are productivity hacks for some stuff in your life, but then you want to do things also that are anti-productivity hacks so that you can get better at dealing with micro challenges.
Yeah.
So that then when you have macro challenges, you're better at those.
Right.
That was a clip. Clip. Do we have a sign for clip? We have Spaniard. We have Wilfie and Nell because of that staircase.
Right.
And then employees only was like a, it's like a, no, there's like a head tilt. It's like a, I don't remember. Manny and Brandon are gonna have to.
Oof.
I had a, maybe we can end on this. I had a funny thought when you were doing the chiropractic adjustment when I took you to the doctor like I was your dad.
My dad would have paid for it.
Shit, he called me out. I didn't pay.
No, my dad wouldn't pay for it actually,
you think
which
he
is
wouldn't
why
have?
I love him. No, I wouldn't let him.
You love your dad because he doesn't pay.
I
for
would not let
you
my
wouldn't
dad
let-
pay for that. Yeah, no, wouldn't do
good.
that.
I'd let my dad pay for that. Anyway,
No judgment.
Anyway.
It's like I'm actually I'm impressed by you not being able to be fazed by that.
what, that I don't care that
That's
I would let
my
my
own
dad?
shit that I got to work through.
This-
That I won't
this
let
is a
anyone
funny
pay for me
topic.
for anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We could do another hour sitting here where I'm like, I'm not embarrassed that like sometimes I'll do something that is childish.
Yeah.
I don't care. Anyway, you were at the chiropractor, you were doing the adjustment, and obviously you were very surprised that your back and your neck could be moved that way.
Yeah.
And it's just funny, like 35 years on this planet, and there's a concept that is so foreign to you that is not some like crazy scientific breakthrough. This like chiropractic adjustments have been around, I'm guessing, for centuries.
Yeah.
And you're like, I didn't know this was a thing.
Right.
And it's sort of an illuminating moment whenever that happens in your life where you're just like, how am I this blind to something? I just don't know about this at all.
Yeah.
There's so many things that have happened, maybe not this year, but in the last 5 years, where I'll give a couple examples. Like, I could just not eat food for 4 days. That's that's physically possible, and I won't die. I can tape my mouth closed and go to sleep at night, and I won't stop breathing. And then over a span of 4 years, I will be able to breathe through my nose, although I've been congested for like 3 straight months. But aside from a period like that, my nose actually functions. I can sleep and breathe through my nose the whole night. Saunas and cold plunges are new. I didn't think you could sit in 170 degree temperature for 20, 30, 35 minutes at a time.
I didn't know BJ's happen in those places either.
Have you told that on camera before?
Oh my God. I don't know actually.
Save for the next podcast. Let's tease it.
All I'll say is Noah came out and he was white as a ghost from that bathhouse experience in August of 23.
And on the next episode, Noah will be on the podcast.
Yes.
At some point, the three of us will do an episode together. And
We did that once. You had him on your last podcast,
Yeah, that
like
was
the last show.
He was on my podcast, Inauguration Day 2016.
Right.
Yeah.
I went on a date that day.
Okay.
And I show up to the movie theater, and my date, she was crying.
Everyone was crying.
That was a really
either tears of joy
really
or
tough
tears
one
of
to
sadness.
overcome. I felt the same sadness, but like she was just like sitting on the stoop crying. I'm like, oh my God, why are we going out? Was it? No, it was the day after election night.
For you, was that?
For me, it was the day after. It's like,
our podcast was Inauguration Day.
Yeah, no, like we knew that Trump had won.
We don't do politics.
Yeah,
and then it just fades to black. Yeah, that's fine.
and it all went down.